Hey, you there. Thank you for watching and welcome to Forward Lines Forever. Today I have a 3v3 ladder match here on the most amazing Roxas map generator. Let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players. Starting off with Team 1 on the northeastern side of the map and on with Team 2 on the southwestern side of the map. Starting off with Team 1's not necessarily isolated, but kind of on his own, kind of to the side. We have Team 1 Chevy Crimson player of Arts Ball. Ours for short, our RZ ball, something like that. He is a cyber and he is an 1185 rated. To his northwest, we have in Ruby Red, it is a Blade Drog. I don't know how to say the last half of his name. Blade for short. He's a UEF as a 1424 rated and running at Team 1 in Orange Scale Orange. Another UEF, it is CH4545 or yeah, it's probably just CH. He is a UEF. He is a 1616 rated, the highest rated player on Team 1 and in the game overall. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have 2 UEF, 1 Cybern, no Aeon, and no Seraphim for Team 1. Moving on to Team 2's, again, kind of to the side, but not necessarily isolated. We have in Royal Blue, it is Master of Seasons playing as a UEF. He is a 1362 rated to his southeast in Stitch Blue. It is Elwood playing as a Cybern. He is a 1393 rated and running at Team 2 in Amethyst Purple. It is Seal Force playing as a UEF. He is a 1475 rated. He's the highest rated player on Team 2. And for Team 2 side of the map, they also have 2 UEF. They also have 1 Cybern. And of course, that means no Aeon and no Seraphim for them, which means for the entirety of this match, there are no Aeons or Seraphim. Apologies to those loyal to the princess, and apologies to those who love to make grand entrances but just show up late all the time. Hopefully, you enjoy the game nonetheless. And for these 6 players on the map, let's take a look at their reclaim situation. I did see a little bit of crystal, so hopefully it's a big number. Currently sitting at 21,000 mass and reclaim, which for 6 players is 3.5k mass. So that's definitely worth writing home about. Major Clumpage does reside in this kind of really weird canyon, narrow environment in the middle of the map. There are some other notable, 800s, 800s. There are a couple of civilian structures as well to grab. But, there is some exterior mass in terms of reclaim, but for the most part, it is in the middle of the map, which way Team 1 kind of slowly scouting and trying to claim that section of the map. And in terms of mexes, additional, there's a couple of twin mexes on the eastern and western side, a twin mex in the middle. But honestly, there's really not a lot of extra mexes on the map for players. So it's going to be every mex counts, every wreck counts, every little bit counts. And of course, it might mean they'll get to T2 pretty quickly and then kind of take a little bit longer to get to T3 as they, decide on whether to go for eco or go for land or air or whatever. We do see the first combat action occurs between Blade of Team 1 in Royal Blue. Sorry, it's a Ruby Red. Oh, I know my colors, I promise. And then Team 2's Master of Season in Royal Blue. So I believe the Royal Blue was in there. I just was riveting it to Team 1 by accident because I was looking at Master of Seasons when I said that. Anyway, we do see Team 1's CH is moving inbound to assist his team in a Blade on the western side. And on the southeastern side, it is Seal Force and then Team 2's Elwood versus Team 1's RZ Ball, who are both going for gun upgrades. We do see Master of Seasons has started his, and he's at 33% and climbing. I don't know if he'll continue it because CH is inbound, which will probably encourage Master of Seasons to, yep, there it is, decline it. And he was getting to about 50%, but the longer he stood there, the more likely chance that he would suffer a lot of hit point loss. Maybe he could have dropped somebody below 2,500 and when he died, get a murder-suicide, but then it drops both teams 1 player, making it a 2v2, and when ladder games where 1 player makes a significantly amount more difference in terms of losing them versus, let's say, a 6v6 where it's, 16% of the APM versus 33% of the APM, definitely a good move to take a little bit more of a defensive approach. Okay, I'll cancel the upgrade. I'll waste the mass, but at least I'll get out of there and move on from there. So nice job there. Master of Seasons falls back. And I don't know where he's going to hold up because really he has 2 main areas to deal with. And if Team 1 does send a force this way, it's kind of annoying because honestly, it's going to take longer unless it comes from RZ specifically. It's going to take longer for Team 1's northern players to send a force south and then westward versus just sending it west and then south. So realistically, Team 2, for example, pretty much has to protect, right here, and then in case of some, run bys or whatever, aircraft dropping off units or something, those two places are probably going to be the only two places he really has to worry about. And obviously, similar on the eastern side. And if Team 2 was to launch an attack and Team 1 had to defend, they have a huge area to protect. I would not try to protect right here because you can easily get swarmed. It's better to just fall back a little bit and then defend in that regard. We do see Convicom action occurs between the southeastern players. RZ Ball focusing on Elwood's commander. Both of them have gun. We do see Elwood is dropping into about mid. We do see Steel Force coming in to block a couple of shots for Elwood. Nice teamwork there. And RZ Ball is dropping hit points at a faster rate because there's two comms, one with gun, one with not, shooting at him versus him shooting at the one with gun. And Elwood will drop into the red and back into the yellow. Land facility helps to deter any movement from RZ Ball continuing to push against Elwood. And now we see Elwood is going to fall back and looks like he's going to build a radar system. Actually, no, a T2 PD emplacement. Apologies. To help secure that section of the map. He might go for stealth. Same thing for RZ Ball. Just to get 2,000 additional hit points. They might even go straight for nano. It would definitely help, especially if they're going to stay on the front lines. If they're going to fall back and hang back in the base, then yeah, maybe just go for stealth, at least as of right now. But if they're going to stay on the front lines, it's probably better that they go for nano just to stay alive a little bit longer. We do see a little bit of tickling going down against RZ's commander. He's falling back. He's again almost in the red as well. But a T2 PD is really just going to help create a small exclusion zone. Nothing too crazy. If Team 1 rushes that placement, should be fine though. They'll lose units, but as long as they have a couple of rhinos acting as the bullet sponges, at least trying to, that should be more than enough. Steel Force going for his gun on the eastern side. And we see some forces from Master of Seasons coming in and dealing with some run. They were sitting here. I don't know if they're going eastward or not. We do see some units have been dropped off by Team 1's Blade going after a mech. That's unfortunate. That's 9 mass a second. Team 1 PD being built to defend. Excuse me. Defend against any forces coming from that direction. But their objective has been completed. That's 9 mass a second. Team 2 loses out on. And this map, every single mech sounds. And I say that for most of the games like this where there's not a lot of mixes, but it really does. Every mix makes a difference. That 6 mass a second, that 9 mass a second, even if it's 2 mass a second, yeah, that might not seem like a big deal, but over 10 minutes, over 20 minutes, over 30 minutes, it makes a lot of difference having that extra 2 mass a second. Missiles outbound from Team 2. That is from a TML, aptly named TML-4, because it's a tactical missile launcher who can hold 4 missiles. Very efficient, the Cyber naming scheme. Missile inbound, and now a little bit of a revenge. Team D was going to be built in time, but Team 2 launched it a little bit sooner than they expected. And that 9 mass a second is now denied. Another mech is going to be assassinated here shortly. No mass storage is yet surrounding it, but there's one dead. And I'm assuming another one will be dead, or presuming another one will be dead shortly. We do see nano repair not going on Elwood's commander, but it's going on the Steel Force's commander. He has gun down, of course. Another missile inbound. Looks like T2 Zapper is not online just yet. That's another mech dead. That's 12 mass a second. We do see T2 now started to onboard Master of Seasons to the western side. Couple of some pillars going after Bladescom. He has gun on board. Nothing really too crazy. It's T2 units. If they were T3 Percy's, it'd be a completely different story. But T2 isn't a terrible thing to deal with, at least especially with gun on board. Nano repair is now done for Steel Force. So it's gun, nano, and gun versus Team 1's only gun. Hopline's moving in. Not really a strong in terms of hit point count unit, but it does fire a little bit further away. And there is a lot of them, to be fair. They fire pretty quick missiles, though. So unless units are moving really quickly, they do hit their target at least somewhat. Not all the missiles may land on their target, but at least some of them will. Elwood over here to the east is going to get a little bit swarmed. You can see those hoplites now engaging. And again, some of the missiles are hitting, some of them aren't. But it's a... Oh, where was that overcharge? Did that overcharge just hit air units? That's what that looked like. It looked like there were air units and they got shot. Either maybe they were sitting on the ground. That's probably what it is. And then by the time they initialized their engines, they were already destroyed. But it seemed like they got shot out of the sky, though. We do see RZ Ball now being hit by those hoplites. We do see Elwood again. No nano on board, no stealth. Same thing with RZ Ball. So Team 1 knows where Team 2 is, and Team 2 knows where Team 1 is. Or at least Team 1 is being shot at by Team 2, and he is roughly aware where the comm was. RZ Ball's falling into the red. Sub 13, sub 12, sub 5, 4, 3, 2. Oh, there he goes. He got hit by one last missile, and that was it. It looked like he was going to get away with it, but no. Team 1 suffers the first loss of the game, and that will force somebody on Team 1 to start splitting their attention. Looks like it's going to be Team 1's CH. He's falling backward. He's moving into where Blade's base is. T3 Air is online for him. And then in the southwest, T3 Air is also online for Team 2. So, which is, I think, is interesting because usually in 3v3, T3 usually comes in a little bit later, but it seems like both teams felt that they could just stick with one land player or on each side and then one air player and then call it a day. Shield Field started for Team 2's Master of Seasons. You don't see the bubble shield used that much, but maybe he wants to build some PD underneath his own shielding and kind of PD creep that way. That would actually be interesting to see. The downside with the shield, of course, is it's only 5,000 versus the 19, but it does regen pretty quickly at 60 hit points a second. So it does, once it depletes, get back up and running faster, because how shields work is the full shield charge or full shield's capacity has to be filled before it comes back online. Because if you could just use it similar to how a shotgun in a lot of video games work, where you're loading it and then like, oh, I need to shoot this enemy right now, but I'm not fully reloaded. You can, it takes a second and then you fire and it's only, half the way loaded or one shell loaded or something. But Master of Seasons just gets absolutely swarmed, and there he goes. Just gets absolutely annihilated by Blade. Blade has gun and nano on board as so that is a nice kill for Team 1. Now it jumps the game to a 2v2. And then with seconds of me making a comment about shotguns and whatnot and firing them before they're fully reloaded, Team loses a player. And now this western side grows a little bit weaker, but it does give the same player on Team 2 that Team 1's chap got second base. So it's going to be the highest rated players on each team have double base for now. Hoplites are invading from Elwood, and there are some units moving in both on the ground and in the air to deal with them. But mexes are being killed off again. We have bricks inbound moving in to deal with said incursions. Another mex is about to die. They might get the last mex before they're killed off. Let's see, a couple of Medusa also mixed in. Definitely a good unit to go after structures. We have hoplites. They're going to kill off a mass storage, which does kill off some mass a second, but not as much as the actual mex. We do see a couple of broadswords have been spammed up now, so Team 1 now has not necessarily snipe potential right this second, but if they keep digging into that well a little bit more, they might have enough to go after at least one of the remaining two players on Team 2. And at not 14, but 17 minutes on the clock, Team 2 is at 270, Team 1 is at 217, so about 40 to 30 mass in their favor. Numbers constantly change, of course, but that's not a terrible amount to be ahead. It's not even, or it's not behind for Team 2, but it's definitely not, 200 mass, 300 mass, 800 mass, 1,000 mass, 12,000 mass, whatever crazy, nonsensical mass to be ahead. That game would take forever, to be fair, if you didn't use a Paragon and you were up 12,000 mass. Or unless your opponent was producing one mass. But even still, it would take forever to produce that not using a Paragon. You'd have to build mass fabs galore, Rascoms galore, just to get up to 12,000 mass a second, let alone be up 12,000 mass versus your opponent. That TML is still getting some work done. He's up to a decent amount of kills. He's at 8 kills, 3-star vet, 4,200 mass kill. He's done pretty well for itself. Looks like the TMD is more than enough to deal with it, unless he somehow shot down an air unit, which I don't think he did. We do see gunships are inbound. That's a nice place to put a radar system, but Team 1 is going to say, no, 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 you don't get Omni in the middle of the map. No, no, no. and blap, and it's gone. Actually, I don't know if anybody else caught that, but it looked like the broadsword fire has range on it, which is weird. I mean, I knew like all units have range, but they were shooting down, and that it wasn't actually reaching the target, which is definitely something I've never seen. How high is that mountain? I mean, it's pretty high. It's not as high as that other one that's over there. You can see in the background right there where my cursor is. That is still, ah, it just it's probably happened before. I just never noticed it. But that is interesting. Didn't know that. Well, some SAM sites online. I can actually say that because there's no Seraphim in the game. And those broadswords are saying no, no, no to the TML and the everything here. There is some flak here. I like the diversity of AA here, but there's a lot of broadswords here. We see one T2 PD on the surface, and that's it. Well, on the ground, on the surface, ground, land, same thing. This little fire base is dead, and looks like maybe they're trying to catch somebody napping on Team 2, but they both fell back. More AA. Some bouncers are inbound. Broadsword sending out the eastern side of the map, and they are going after the AA again. Shoot at the stuff shooting at you, and then shoot at everything else. They can't shoot back at you. And it's like shooting fish in a barrel. It's very easy to deal with. We do see a lot of focus from Team 1's CH on the eastern front. Lots of broadswords. Team 2's air needs to get spammed up pretty quickly. There is some ASF inbound for a nice little protection order. Maybe even some airlocking. And there's the fight between them. It's UEF versus UEF, so no faction advantage in terms of one unit being better than the other. It's only going to come down to numbers and AA and everything else. But Team 1 wins the fight, and they have airlocked Team 2 at 21 minutes. Those broadswords are inbound, and guess where they're inbound for? If they can win air and just continue to bombard Team 1 from the air, that might actually just be game right there. But no, the broadswords turn around, which I feel like it's such a missed opportunity. I mean, they're building AA now. They didn't have it, at least a whole lot of it, but they could have at least wiped out a couple of P-gens, maybe crippled it, not necessarily taken it out entirely, but done enough to say, okay, Team 2 is going to be behind for a while. They can either spam more air or we can do something else. Team 1 expanding a layer a little bit, not as much, I think, as Team 2. More, they have stuff set up for it, though. They can put air facilities there, and they just built the P-gens first, so that way they have the power reserves and they're not constantly going up, down on their positive and negative income for power. Western side, couple of units just stacked up, nothing too crazy. And those gunships have found a new target. I feel like I just cast a curse to them. That's apologies there. We do see a couple of Cougars starting to roam around Team 2's western front. Those forces are falling back like, uh-oh. We know what's inbound, and we're going to run away now. Again, it's not a lot. It's a couple of Perseus and Parashields, but it's still less forces that Team 1 would have to deal with in the future if they just decided. I can't talk today on that western front. Team 1 now severely pushing back Team 2 on the southern front. Again, not a lot of mixes are to be gained, but that's 4 mixes that Team 2 did have that they now no longer have, and Team 1 is now in the lead. Barely, but they are in the lead. And those, oh, they have I didn't even notice the broadswords have jamming. Oh, that's definitely not a new thing. At least I presume that it's not a new thing. Huh. Apparently they have jamming technology on board those gunships. Didn't know that. Again, learned another thing today. We do see Elwood is moving into this brick force, which overcharge does wipe out a brick immediately. So we can keep pumping out power. That might be enough to keep this force back, but definitely not a great decision to do because he would get blitzed down pretty quickly by the remaining bricks anyways. He's now on 3-star vet working on his 4th. No stealth, no nano, no cloaking, no laser, no nothing. Just gun and overcharge on board that commander. You just see western side Perseus have a regroup once again with probably some more AA. ASFs are inbound. They're going after the gunships. And Team 2 is going to sacrifice what they have in air to go after them. They've killed off 3 gunships so far, 4 gunships, 5 gunships. And it looks like there's a little bit more bouncers mixed in. They're going after whatever's nearby. Gunships maybe lost about half, which is something. It's better than obviously nothing. And then here comes Elwood, engaged by those brick forces again. He's dropping hit points incredibly quickly. Another overcharge would save him. Yep, he does get up to 4-star vet. And he's closing in on number 5. Brick forces for him aren't as flushed out. And there are some broadswords nearby. And he's right there waiting to be shot down, or blown up, I should say, by those broadswords. ASFs are inbound to try to help, but between the bricks on the ground and the broadswords in the air, there's no coming back from that. And Team 2 loses their second player. And now it is Seal Force for Team 2, or Team Seal Force, or the Lone Survivor versus Team 1, CH and Blade at 25-ish minutes, so about halfway through the game. And again, the game lasts to about 50 or so minutes, so it's not going to be an easy win for Team 1 if they do win. If Team 2, as of right now, is in comeback territory because it's a 1v2, but we'll see how the game progresses. Seal Force will probably lock down somewhere, build some shields, build some AA, build whatever he can muster, and just defend. It gives Team 1 a huge advantage where they'll probably get a little bit more control of the map. You can already see them again past the 50% mark in terms of the prime meridian. Equator-wise, not so much, but Team 1 controls the northern side already. So they already have the majority of mexes being more than 50%. Not a big majority, but still a majority. Unless Team 2 invests in heavy artificial eco, whether it's RAS, SACU spam, or mass fabs, they are going to fall behind eventually, or he is going to fall behind eventually. We do see, again, a little bit of engineering running around for Team 1. Again, getting as much reclaim. Team 1 is doing pretty well, almost double that of Team 2. And that is what's pretty much dictating their lead in total mass accrued, is the reclaim for the most part. And that will continue to go Team 1's way. But Team 2, if he does just lock down, he builds a bunch of shields, PD, AA, whatever, Team 1 will have to come to them, which is a good news and bad news, as I've kind of already illustrated. Depends how aggressive Team 1 is. If Team 1 is continually aggressive, then it might not work for Team 1. But if they, if they want to be defensive, we'll be defensive and build a nuke, build artillery, build something, and probably build it faster than them. But theoretically, we do see land facility on the front line getting some engineers to build some PD emplacements to protect themselves. Those are Cerberus PD. They are a little bit, of course, more range than the T1s, as is the customary upgrade from Team 1 to T2, and then in some cases the T3. Some brick forces engage, some brick forces hang back. Numerically advantage force for Team 1 will definitely out DPS the everything from Team 2, and it'll be forced to fall back. I feel like Team 2 is definitely stronger on the northern side. The eastern side, not as much. It's definitely a bigger environment to cover versus the northern side, where there's essentially those two avenues right here and there. So we'll see if Team 1 launches an attack northward. I highly doubt it. They're probably, if they do lose territory, we'll probably say, okay, this is about as far as we'll let you go, or even this is about as far as we'll let you go, keeping that T3 mechs online. We do see Team 1 again just slowly inching in. And the one thing in favor for Seal Force is he's producing the most mass in the game. Now that's split between 3 bases, doing theoretically 3 separate things. So it's stretching his mass, but he is producing more mass than either player on Team 1 independently, which means he could spend more resources on bigger objects like SACUs right now, and maybe he's producing a nuke somewhere, which, no, he's not, but, a guy can hope for it. We haven't had a lot of nukes lately, which I'm kind of sad about. I haven't been able to say kaboom a lot, but, there are those games where I say it a lot, and there are some games where I say it never, or not, so, just how the game goes. And Team 1, again, is launching an attack. There's a lot of PD being built from Team 2 Seal Force. It's slowly assisting all of the destruction of the bricks. Team 2 getting more reinforcements online in terms of those bricks, but looks like for the majority of those PD emplacements, they are being dealt with. There's still a brick who's doing 100% of the damage at pretty much no hit points at this point. And there is a brick now, newly minted. Bricks going after the PD emplacements, not the forces on the ground. We have more units inbound, but it's thinning out for Team 1, which will favor Team 2. Look at all this nice, juicy reclaim they have. Some of it was from them, and some of it was from Team 1, but they'll definitely be gracious for all of the reclaim that is coming to them. And more bricks, more and more bricks, more and more PD, more and more PD. And 3 more bricks remain. There's a lot of flak, and again, air-to-ground units can't target ground units. At least the Cyberns can, but it's not great in terms of accuracy and whatnot. There's a couple more bricks remaining. We see some that's a lot more ASFs now online for Team 2. And that brick force has dealt with all of the flak and whatnot. It has been dealt with. There's more bricks inbound, but 1 isn't going to be enough. And now we see Seal Force moving in with his commander, probably just going to scoop up reclaim while his brick forces continue to create that nice little brick wall that he's enjoying. Western side, there is some missile spam from some mobile missile launchers in the Spearhead technology realm. We do see a lot of Perseus guarding them. A lot more parashields are inbound to assist. AA units as well mixed in. Love the mixture of units. I would like to see maybe a Titan or 2 just in there, just to help with more rapid fire assistance with some, T1 or even T2 units, just to thin them out a little bit so the Perseus aren't wasting all of their shots on them. Broadswords inbound as well to assist with broadswords over here to the east, just hanging out. ASF's hanging out right here on the eastern front. And Seal Force is being split in 2 different directions, which that APM, doing stuff over here and then doing stuff over here and then doing stuff over here, that is definitely eating away at Team 2, and it's kind of showing with the eco. It's 570 to 550, so still not terribly in favor for Team 1, but it's not a lead that Team 2 can't surmount. We do see forces just being bombarded by missiles. TMD is being built, but not enough of it, and it's being targeted. They're definitely buzz kills, those TMD. They're annoying. They're not as effective as other TMD. They're just a buzzkill, just flat out. We have hives being built back here. Maybe a Monkeyloid's going to be built by Team 2 Seal Force just to punch through somewhere. Probably not the northern front because there's a lot of Perseus. Those one-shot wonders are wonders for a reason, and they fire lots and lots of damage in one shot, and they have to wait to reload. But the force of Perseus is inbound. Team 1 has the overwhelming number of them, but there's a lot more targets for Team 1 to go after than in terms of types of targets. I don't know if they have target priorities on Perseus or other units or whatever. Looks like they are focusing. Looks like maybe the Perseus for the most part. Perseus are coming off the assembly line. No, not quickly, but not too bad. T3 landing quarters would be a nice target to eliminate, but Team 1. Most of Perseus have been dealt with its spearheads, which that's going to probably claim the kill on that land facility. I think a Percy actually got that. Does a nice grab for Team 1, eliminates the land facility to the west. Means no more Perseus, at least out of that facility. He's still UEF, so he can still build more Perseus, but he has to build another land headquarters first, which I don't know if he wants to do. Rambo presets are online for him as well. There are some pillars starting to slowly get behind his front line. There is a gunship or 2 inbound to assist. There is some decent flak there. Looks like he's dealt with the rest of those forces for Team 1, but there's a lot of reclaim there. Again, another attack. Doesn't completely wipe out the base, but it does go after a high-value target of the T3 land headquarters. Looks like the remainder of those units are just going to slowly eat away the ASFs, but looks like gunships are inbound. And maybe even the Combo Seal Force will come and say hi. It's Gun and Nano on board. He'd be more than well-equipped to deal with some some pillars, some parashields, and some skyboxers. Yeah, the skyboxers. Mass fast farm starting here for Blade. Love the central shield in the middle, be able to protect it, and then of course it's being layered, so love to see that. We have Team 1's CH over here getting a nice little somewhat decentralized air grid. It's definitely a small choke point, which is good because it's not a lot of cascade, but it's still some, but it's not a terrible amount. Not as bad as an entirely big. Oh, there's a nuke. Remember when I said I was building I wonder if somebody's going to build a nuke somewhere? I don't know if I just willed that into existence or not. Oh, do not tell me this thing's going to get wiped out immediately. That'd be unfortunate. Bricks are inbound. That's not going to be good for that facility. We have a couple. Oh, they get reclaimed pretty quickly. Those T3 engineers just scoop up all those hit points. It did take some damage, to be fair. So that is unfortunate, but it's halfway loaded. And where is it launch? Oh, it looked like it was launching on himself first. It's like, that line doesn't continue. And it's going for... Oh, it's going to go for the air grid. That's Definitely a good call. Wipe out the air, especially the gunships has been a no, but the nuke is dead anyways. I kind of saw it kind of starting to materialize, but yeah, it's unfortunate. The gunships definitely did not help things. ASFs will kind of even each other out, I think. Gunships, for the most part, are dealt with. That is just scatter, scatter, scatter. But it looks like Team 2 has the better number of triangles online. But what this does do for Team 1 is it gives them time to build SMDs. And you build one there, you build one there, and you can even maybe just forego building one back there, but you probably still want to build one back there. Just in case. We see some pushing out from Team Seal Force over here. Lots of PD, very similar to what happened over here to the west, but now it's the reclaims on Team 1 side of the map now, and again, that's probably not the best idea. You want the reclaim on this side, easy to, scoop up, build stuff with it. Team 1 is expediting their income. Now it's 200 mass in Team 1's favor at 34 minutes, and at 34 minutes on the clock, Team 1 has lost Aussie Ball second. First? Yes, first, and then it was Master of Seasons, and then it was Elwood. So it is a 2v1 in favor of Team 1 or Red Team at 35 minutes. Let me know down in the comments what you think is going to currently win this game. We do see that Blade is just over here to the north, just hanging out. Not on any shield coverage, nothing, just hanging out. Seal Force, they do see one random unit signature. If they made a random play, they might be able to grab the comm, but they'd need gunships and a whole lot of other stuff to go after him. He would actually need 6 strat bombers, 7 to be confident just in case he he regens pretty quickly. 62 hit points. You might want that 7th one just in case. Gunships are inbound enough that probably would have killed them, but I don't know where they're going right where the ASFs are hanging out. That's definitely not a good idea. I don't know if he's trying to bait team. Okay, no, he's not baiting because his ASFs aren't there. And 1, 2, and dead. Yep, that's unfortunate. Looks like maybe he had a move order in mind, didn't call him back in time, forgot about it or something, but that is unfortunate. That's just mass that's going to sit there, and Team 1's going to scoop it up. We even see engineers already moving in to do that thing, and each one's worth almost 1,000, so that's... Let's call it 8,000 mass. Technically, it is 7,500, but, that's with rounding and whatnot. There is a Megalith on the southern side for Team 2. That's going to eat away at the front line. We do see bricks probably just going to be spammed up and then pulled back. Team 2 Seal Force skipped the monkey phase. Nuke is going to be rebuilt at some point, but engineers are dead, so he has to ferry engineers over there or just have them trundle over there. T3 landed quarters was not reminted. T2 is online, going up to T3 now. We have gunships. Yeah, he had another squadron of 8. I mean, there's some flack here. They could probably actually blitz that down with the gunships and buy them a little bit more time. But he doesn't want to probably lose 16 of them. Had he had the 24, he probably just would have gone for it and been done with it at this point. But he wants to be a little bit more cautious, which I don't blame him. Team 1, are you building anything big and exciting in your bases? No, 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 no. Anything in the background? No, no, no. No. In random spots on the map? No, no, no. And no. So there is that. We do see SACU trying to build artillery, but it's being bombarded. It is a Rambo. There go the gunships. Actually, there's a lot more, AA than I thought, but they're going to go for it nonetheless. There goes the shield on the Fat Boy, and then there go the hit points. He immediately ran after that, so he could have just straight up engaged it and then been done with it. Don't know why he waited so long. Pale Ship comes back online. Couple of Cougars maybe remain. Actually, looks like they dealt with pretty much all the Cougars. We have 2 SACUs on the front line taking the brunt of the damage, but again, 26,000 hit points will be eventually chewed through, and then the remainder will be chewed through after that. And then where'd the gunships go? Why aren't they still there? Oh, no, they're starting to pop their heads up again. And Team 2 trying to hold the line. T2PD trying to be built as fast as possible. We have more gunships inbound. Another SSU is down. And that looks like it's going to be the end of the Perseus for the most part. ASFs are gearing up for the attack. Team 2's ASF. Oh, they're not there. Oh, they're waiting to see if they'll engage. Oh, they kind of engage. They kind of don't engage, but it doesn't matter because Team 2 takes the engagement anyways for ASFs. And I think Team 1 now has the ASF count. That's a lot of gunships. And you need to get those over, under, in, behind, AA coverage, something. Nuke is rebuilt and is being loaded as we speak. Does Team 1 have SMDs now online? No. And how do you okay, you're building one now. How are you just building one now at 40 minutes even? You yes, you did kill the nuke. Maybe you thought he wouldn't go for another nuke. But to be fair, that SMD might load in time. It's not being assisted. The nuke isn't. So SMDs load just natively faster than nukes do. So I think it takes 4 minutes for an SMD and 5 minutes for a nuke unassisted for both of them, I think. And then it's going to be respotted and nuke. There it is. CH sees it. T2 being built on Seal Force trades out his nano upgrade. More air grid here for him. Another crab or same crab? Another crab online for Team 2's Seal Force. And looks like some bricks are starting to mount a nice little house, nice little brick house online. Couple of wall sections at least in this group. Lots of engineers just spamming out those bricks. There's also a lot of bricks here. Is that enough for a brick house? That is the wrong player. It's half a brick house. You need, well, no, actually, it's almost because because it's 12. Yeah, because it's 12. So I keep thinking 8 for whatever reason. Northwestern side, couple of TMD, couple of shields, couple of flags just to defend those, couple of just T3 maxes. But hey, that's 27 mass a second times 2. That's 54 mass a second. Makes a difference. Team 1 is at over 300 mass a second. They need something very efficient and effective, which a nuke would definitely fit the bill there. There is also an SMD there. So Team 2's probably best bet might just be to strike this, wipe out the huge production facility for land units, and then just full send it northward after that, and just force Team 1 to either pull back forces from the west or just completely commit to dealing with this in terms of their air. ASFs come in, maybe they wipe out some gunships, maybe they wipe out some own ASFs, or you move the gunships from the western side over to deal with the land forces, and you completely wipe out both land armies, and then maybe you go something else. But I don't know, there's a lot of options. But he is going to launch the attack anyways. He will lose this megalith. He just will. There's a lot of bricks here from both teams. The unfortunate thing, though, is that resupplying for Team 1 is a lot easier for Team 2 because he's right there, and Team 2 is all the way back here. He does have another megalith online, and he has another megalith online moving in. Is that not the same megalith over there for defense? They're scooping up the Fat Boy as we speak, but the megalith is just going to get swarmed by bricks, and maybe we'll do some crash damage and kill off a couple of bricks with its death, but that's definitely going to be on Team 1 side of the map in terms of reclaim. 43 minutes almost on the clock. Has the nuke going. SACU blows up somewhere. Looks like it was embedded in Team 1's army, maybe? Does he have a quantum gateway over there? He does. That has to have been Team 2's then. And Megalith is at 2-star vet, though. It's done pretty good job. Almost 100 kills, but doesn't get it. And that's a lot of reclaim still. Nuke says Master of Seasons. So there is Nuke defense online. Almost done. This one is, there it is, loaded. And that will protect, again, those 2 bases, but it will leave this eastern base vulnerable. Land facilities are being built for reclaim purposes. It's a lot of reclaim on the eastern front. Upwards of maybe 50,000 plus mass over there. That's a lot of mass, especially in a game like this. To have Team 1 in terms of totals is up about 100,000. Megalith is being bombarded by 2 fatties, and there's a couple of SACUs assisting in terms of Rambos. There's another oh no, those were Percy's, not Megalith, but they fired together, so it kind of looked like it. And Team 1 PD being spammed up, T2 PD being something is being spammed up, but those Fat Warriors is going to just outrange them anyways. And that Megalith will slowly die on that western front regardless. Gunships are inbound for a second attack on that nuke, and unfortunately for that nuke, I mean, it has more AA surrounding it, to be fair, and Team 2, I think, sees them inbound, to be honest. Oh, they see that, and they definitely know they're inbound. I'm surprised the ASFs are not engaging, but the gunships are going to take the opportunity to go after both fatties due to the fact that the ASFs are distracted by the nuke, which they should be, to be fair. There's a lot of flak here, and that will eat away at a lot of the gunships over time. That's the second fat boy in that group now dead. That's third in total. Here come the gunships. The gunships are being focused down by the SAMs, and gunships are going to get underneath the shielding. Nope, not underneath the second one, just under the first one. And that's why it's nice to have some layering like an onion. A couple of gunships get out of that, but that's a nice learning from your mistakes for Team 2. A couple of units just kind of run on by. Don't really know what they were up to, but they do get dealt with. And Team 2's force gets slowly reclaimed once again. Nuke is inbound. Did it go for the right target? Yes, it did. SMD is built, but not loaded. And another megalith is going to die, because it is all on its own trying to secure the reclaim field, and Team 1 says absolutely not. And that nuke is flying as we speak. Nuke was built for Team 1's blade. It hasn't been heavily assisted yet, but I think soon it will be. And here comes the nuke. Nothing's really in by. Lots of engineers are fleeing. Production facilities are dead and gone. T3 land brick headquarters is gone. Boom. First nuke of the game has been fired and then lands. Second megalith is dead over here to the east. And that leaves Team 1 with 2 main bases. Western base, to be fair, for Team 2 is heavily damaged, but most of their mechs are fine. Land facilities are being dealt with. They lost their T3 land when it's rebuilt back here. Definitely in a more protected location, to be fair. Flex still eating those gunships alive for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We do see some T3 land facilities being built, but mechs are being eliminated now by that sole Percy. All it is going to be is one Percy eliminating at least a couple of I keep saying megas. Mexes. Eastern side, again, that brick force continuing to try to keep Team 2 back, but it's not as effective because they don't really get any resupply at this point because all those facilities are dead. Megalith is going to lose a lot of hit points, though. It actually might still die. And if not, it's going to be... Oh, you can't keep changing targets. You got to keep, deleting the targets that do damage. Or... Oh, no, it's changing. Oh, it's... Okay, well, it's dead. It's dead now. It is 100% dead now. How's the nuke going? Nuke is about a third of the way loaded. Team 2 has your second nuke going. It is being heavily assisted. Or decently assisted, I'd say, not heavily. It's almost about half done. Killed off, closing in on 50,000 mass. That's definitely worth the first nuke for sure. It's not the best nuke I've ever seen on the planet, but hey, it's better than having it being 10,000 mass. Western side is pretty much collapsed for Team 2. Eastern side, not looking great. Megalith is down. A couple of bricks still remain. Could have probably just dealt with the remaining bricks, and there's still the gunships to deal with. And I think Team 2 is just being buried in mass at this point. 47... minutes on the clock. And honestly, I mean, the nuke was great to see, but the momentum didn't really shift in either way. Maybe if that first nuke was allowed to stay online, then this game would be completely different. The air grid would have been taken out. That would have been a huge win. I keep wasting my air, says CO Force. I mean, that is a good thing to realize, but depends what he ends up doing with it, because yes, he realizes he's doing it, but does he stop doing that? Or does he continue to, try to do some damage against the gunships? The gunships are the main threat from Team 1, of course, in the air at least. And they're just eating all of those bricks for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That's why I thought Team 2 would just kind of hunker down and just defend as much as possible. Yeah, it would give Team 1 a little bit of advantage that way, but, the nuke we saw was a nice plan. They just needed to protect it a little bit more. 400 mass per second and falling. And with that third base on the western side for Team 2 dead and probably not coming back anytime soon. It's being cannibalized as we speak. The units, just everything's being scooped up. I just don't know if Team 2 has enough momentum, mass. This map sucks, by the way. I mean, it's not great. There's not a lot of mass in terms of mexes. There was a decent amount of reclaim. Not really great. Middle of the map. I mean, it's not small for a 3v3. Oh, do not tell me he gets sniped by that nuke. no mexes to fight over. I mean, he's not necessarily wrong. And there goes the nuke. And yep, there it is. There's the control K. And that makes it suck Y. Over the nuke did land before the game ended. But 49 minutes and 28 seconds. I thought he was going to get 30 seconds on the clock. Nuke killed off 70,000 mass. So that probably would have been somewhat comparable to if that nuke did survive initially over there and did launch and did land over there on Team One's CH side of the map. And I think MVP does go to him. Each player on the teams did get another base because they lost a player at least in the beginning. And CH went for air, he went for gunships, and those gunships were a big threat to Team Two. Team Two tried to copy them, and on the Western side, they had very good success, killing off multiple fat boys. But I think a lot of it did come down to you had APM going this way, and you had APM going this way constantly. Oh, sorry, this way constantly, and there was, it's either APM was over here going this way or going there wasn't a concerted effort one way or the other. It was just a collapse that was slowly encroaching and surrounding CO4. So you can see the land forces are inbound anyways. He would have lost that air grid to the north soon, even if the nuke was shot down. Maybe the game would have lasted maybe 5 more minutes because we have forces over here, some gunships, but I don't know. I don't know if the game would have lasted that much longer. Nuke back here was going to fire. Oh, that is. I keep pushing my caps lock button for whatever reason. It was going to land here. And yeah, that would have killed off some production, but that wouldn't have done, Mex is dead. It wouldn't have done T3 lands dead. T3 headquarters is dead, I should say. So I think it comes down to APM and just he was right. There's not a lot of mexes on the map, and he didn't go for artificial eco. And that was a nice thing. You kind of had one main target in CH going for, gunships and land. And then Blade was doing stuff on land, but he also was really pumping into mexes, not mexes, but mass and power and whatnot, and really juicing his eco. So later the match got on, the worse that discrepancy between the two teams got, and he would have definitely just been buried in match straight up. So it is the hard part, but sometimes players that are, down a player or two or three or four or five, sometimes they come back and win it all, but it's not every game. So I think it was just, again, it was definitely a good job on both sides of the map, but I think Team One, again, had the APM, they had the mass, and CH just went for the gunships. He stuck with it. He did go for the bricks on the southern side. Didn't build any experimentals, just focused on bricks. I think that's what was, I think, a good thing to do and get all of those units online. But let me know down in the comments who you think deserves MVP. Again, I think it is CH, but again, Blade did do a very good job as well. And I will see all of you in the next one.